Today, I want to comment on a new video put forward by Rahul Gandhi, and this is about a chat he had with IT professionals in India. Now, very briefly, what could we say are the problems faced by IT professionals or the IT industry in India? And the answer is that essentially the industry relies on cheap uh, coolie type of work which is going to be completely eradicated by AI. So that is the challenge faced. Now, government, Modi's Sarkar is saying yes, yes, we're going to do something about AI, and there is some sort of plan. But is it credible? And we don't know. It could be. It could be. Let's see. Hopefully, if Modi comes back with a good majority, um, and at the moment, he seems to be rather complacent. He seems to be thinking that, yeah, I'm going to get back in. And I know some of my the people that I know, some of my friends, they are giving input to ministries who are supposed to be focusing on the plan for the next 5 years. I don't know whether that's really very possible. But insofar as I've been asked to say anything about this, I would make 3 points. Firstly, that yeah, I mean there is still low-hanging fruit in many parts of India to set up all sorts of things. You know, and to get the donkey, people are happy to do that donkey work. It's okay. So yeah, essentially you can have definitely you can have expansion of a just of a what's called uh, capital broadening rather than capital deepening. You know, and the finance for it would be relatively cheap, but you have to contain costs because otherwise, you know, it's not going to be feasible because anything which is basically about capital widening, which is about, and don't forget that when you have data centers next to which are energy quite intensive, and okay, yeah, maybe solar power and wind power, and okay, fair enough, but to make the thing sustainable, firstly, you can't have bloody reservations. You can't have too much rent seeking. You can't have very high, I mean, yeah, basically rent extraction, rent anticipation. It's all the usual things that we've been talking, that Manmohan was talking about. And actually, I would draw the attention of Indian uh, economists, if any such still exist, to Stephen Chung, the Hong Kong economist, and you could say that he was in a Keynesian law and economics tradition, and stressing basically transaction costs, institutional costs. And if you actually look at the kind of the timetable, you find that really he was ahead of the curve. He started writing in Chinese for China, and if you look at things like how incomplete contract theory as applied to China, why is that such a good fit? And the answer is that Stephen Chung was there. This is a guy who he knew cause and he knew also he was like in the room, or he was part of that conversation, going back to the 1960s. But I mean, how I came to know him was through the fact that he redesigned the Hong Kong economics A level. And I remember I used to teach back when I was 21 or 22. I used to teach Econ A level, and I had this Hong Kong student whose English wasn't very good, but basically the guy was saying, "You stupid coolie man, let me show you." You know, and the fact is, I mean, it was in Hong Kong was A levels English, but I think just as in India, you're taught maybe taught in English. There's English written on the blackboard, but the instruction is in your mother tongue. In that case, in Cantonese. But it was remarkable. I thought, okay, this guy is smart, but nothing really came of it. And oh yeah, I mean, basically the guy started to write in Chinese. He's publishing in Chinese because the Chinese were actually listening to him in the 90s and a bit later on. I understand that then the Americans, for some reason, they tried to screw him on tax evasion or some nonsense. So he's basically in the mainland, so that otherwise he'd be extradited. So Stephen Chung, I think, is a very remarkable person. And if you're an IT guy in India or you're a venture capitalist in India, uh, take a look at his stuff. I'm not saying it's a perfect fit, but if you're interested in how to kind of stave off some of the grave threats to the little bit of affluence, a little bit of middle classness that, and it was Rajiv Gandhi who did help create that because those were his values, and but they're definitely now everybody's values. Everybody wants that, and but it has to be done in a sensible manner. Now, I just want you to listen to. So the opposite of what would be sensible is the Nata Rahul and what he has to say. Let's hear from them.
I actually believe the path that India is on is non-sustainable, destructive, and will actually end in a collapse of the country. I want to open a small scale production. There's so much of entry barrier currently. And to top of that, of course, leakages and licenses and everything. So are there any plans if the government comes in power? One has to think about is a rolling back of some of these ideas. A GST that is literally burning the grass in front of these small and medium guys. So clicking the GST. Second, 14 lakh crores karza maaf to 100 guys. Now,
So the man is a nutter. Now, uh, how what are the things that you need to say to IT the, industry as a whole? Now Modi is saying, yeah, we're going to do some stuff on AI. We're going to start doing from the hardware side, and but it all AI is extremely energy intensive. But okay, yeah, that can tie up with solar parks, wind parks in TN where I come from. Well, I mean, I don't come from there, but I, I'm originally from Tamil Nadu. Ancestors are from Tamil Nadu, and you've got the sun, you've got the farts, gobar gas. We can we can definitely which and you've got hot air produced by Rahul. But that's not really, that's basically capital deepening. It's not something that India has traditionally, except in, under quite monopolistic circumstances or under a particular promoter. Yeah, it can happen, but it's our whole ethos is against that. We're not good at that. Scope and scale economies can, but these are gifted Adani, Ambani, Tatas. These were people who could play Birlas, Bajajas. In each of these cases, there is some extra element which is not really duplicable. But what about GST? Answer is yeah, it has to be rationalized. But we know all value-added taxes they end up being rationalized in exactly the same manner. You can't really invent that wheel. What about MSP, minimum support prices? Answer is no. Fuck off. It's not possible. So this is well trodden ground. Um, and does Rahul have anything at all? Oh yeah, yeah. The other thing is, what about this small and medium-sized sector? Answer is you have to have a shakeout, and people in that sector they know, guys that definitely a chap like me that I know that this particular family where the head of the family is about my age. And he tells me very frankly, by the way, quite a few of them have decided to take British citizenship. They've moved over here. And you look at their portfolio and you know that they are doing about, in the extended family, they're doing about five or six uh, quite different sectors. But at least three of those are going to go bust. It's a standard portfolio choice. You know, with SME, that there's got to be shakeouts, a lot of shakeouts. You can't protect a sector where you have to have a lot of shakeouts. You can't protect agriculture when the fact is that most farmers should get the fuck out of farming, and middlemen and so on, the hathias or however you call them, the middlemen, they also, I mean, they have diversified. And if you live in London, you they've diversified into property near you. They're doing property development here. There's a chap with a van from Gujarat who was selling actually vade and idli, just 2 minutes from where I am. And it's classic market discovery. And these guys basically are taking risks. But it's market discovery. They're doing, they know about portfolio diversification, even if they can't speak English. As far as this guy, this family, they could hardly speak good Hindi. And, since 1970s, at least, Gujaratis have been bilingual. But, okay, I mean, I don't know the details. I don't know what that caste was or this or that. But I can, you know, but they're doing the right thing. They're doing market discovery. And some of the enterprises in the extended family, I think these guys, they probably came over quite recently. I don't want to look too carefully at their visa. It could be Portuguese, you know, like that Mr. D'Souza is Gujarati and not from Daman or Diu, but, straight up. I mean, there's a lot of strange stuff going on. But, it's economics, and these guys aren't here to do terrorism or to do, but they are doing market discovery, and they are pretty diverse. It's portfolio choice. But the bottom line is don't protect small and medium, don't give them cheap funds. Do, do, and venture capital involved. That's a different, that's not cheap loans. It's cheap, basically you're taking share. It's Shark Tank. It's it's venture capital. But that's a different. You lower the cost of funds, but you don't subsidize loans, and you don't forgive loans and do all that kind of stupid shit. But this is not what Rahul
You
did.
can either give them that money or you can give that money to small and medium business. You can either build a tax system and a structure that is designed to help monopolists, or you can build one that is designed to help small and medium business. You can't do both. The thing that needs to be done aggressively is to take the country into.
With monopolies, obviously there is a rent, and since the time of the Tudors created monopolies because there's a rent. It's especially in antithetical type of businesses, it's a steady stream for the government. And without that steady stream in anti-cyclical kind of industries where there's natural monopoly, yeah, without that rent, uh, the security of the country is compromised. What you can't do is subsidize lending to a sector. SME is a sector where most of the little babies must die, you know, because they're not real babies. They are baby enterprises, infants, which can't actually have the scope and scale economies to grow.
Production to make production centerpiece and to protect the people, whether they're small businesses, medium businesses, farmers, even large businesses who are interested in actually creating jobs for this country. We would be quite aggressive on protecting farmers, MSP, which is basically, listen, you're a base producer here, we're going to put a floor on it. Then protecting the second level producers, small and medium business, people who are trying to take products out of the farm.
So, what's wrong with putting a floor under agricultural prices? And the answer is obviously you get surpluses which are costly to store. And if you try to sell them, I mean, like the EU had the Butter Mountain and the Wine Lake and so forth. Yeah, but that's against WTO rules, and it's actually a terrible misallocation of resources. But at a much more basic level, it would mean India exporting water, um, uh, which is in water and energy, which is crazy because most parts of India are water deficient, or there is actual vulnerability and water shortage for things like bathing, for things like drinking water. It's a crazy, it's mad. It's like Saudi Arabia back in the 80s when they used to export watermelon. Drain the aquifer, grow watermelon, export it. How stupid is that? And they stopped doing that. But Rahul, I mean, God knows why he wants. I mean, this is A-level economics. I mentioned Stephen Chung, who redesigned the Hong Kong A-level in economics, and how sad that India never had anybody like that. We had Amartya Sen, idiot. We don't have a single law in econ maven. We don't, there is nobody who could. We have Bhagwati, but he's not a law and econ guy. And our problem is very high transaction or institutional costs in the terms of Stephen Chow. Anyway, let's hear more from the paper.
And then high-tech small and medium guys, handicraft small and medium guys, and then linking all these sectors, right? There is a skill base in India. There is a production system in India. उसको आप लोगों से connect करें.
Well, one thing I can tell you is that this man has zero skill.
I actually believe the path that India
Whatever he believes is nonsense.
is non-sustainable.
This man is non-sustainable. How can Congress sustain this bloody cretin? He, as he himself says, he could have become PM at the age of 25. Definitely at the age of 34, when he became an MP. Like Bilawal Bhutto, he could have become a Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. And, Bilawal, when he became Foreign Minister in Pakistan, he actually helped them, you know. And look at Bilawal now, he's what, 35, 36. And look at this worthless piece of shit who is 54 years old and never had a job, homeless, dirty Santa, beard. I mean, fuck is wrong with him? And you have to blame Jairam Ramesh, for misleading the guy and taking him down into down into the sewer of utter worthlessness. Anyway, um, he's a nice chap, though. You know, but the problem is that he hasn't even been able to get married. And what's the point of being a nice guy if at least you can't do your duty in that department? and provide an heir to a dynasty dying nasty.